We'll go across the pond for the British Beat. Sean Prevel tells us how Remembrance Day is commemorated in the UK.
Welcome back to the United Kingdom and the University of Kent for the latest edition of the British Beat. Today is Remembrance Day in Canada, in memory of those we lost in wars gone by. But as many know, Canada is not the only country to celebrate it, but here in the UK, there are differences in how it's observed. While in Canada, Remembrance Day is celebrated November 11th, here it is actually held across 3 days from the Sunday closest to the 11th to the day itself. During the Sunday, special events and services are held, including the formal ceremony at the cenotaph, with other events held up to Tuesday. However, there are some similarities between Canada and the UK. Ceremonies are held at local war memorials with poppy wreaths laid by representatives of the Crown, armed forces, and civic leaders. And a much larger ceremony takes place in London, much like in Ottawa, with the Prime Minister, members of the military, and the public in attendance. The last post is also played by buglers, and a salute is given, though in the UK it's with cannon instead of gunfire, followed by 2 minutes of silence. Poppies here are also commonplace, though surprisingly are made with paper as opposed to the molded plastic used in Canada. But the meaning is still the same and worn the same way. An interesting thing to note too is that in memory of the 100th year since the beginning of World War I, an installation of poppies called the Blood-Swept Lands and Seas of Red has been set up to progressively fill the moat surrounding the Tower of London. More than 888,000 poppies are expected to fill the moat by November 11th, one for each British and colonial death during the conflict. Now, turning to the Kent area. Where I'm living now is actually an interesting area similar to that of Windsor, in that Gillingham is part of an area known as the Medway Towns, similar to how Windsor-Essex is. Several different communities are together within a short distance from each other, though there isn't as big a city within them like Windsor, but it's still a collection of interesting places to visit, all in one area within Kent County. In addition to that, this area has two well-known people I'm sure many have heard of. The first is English journalist David Frost, the man who was part of the BBC, Al Jazeera English, and of course, best known for his interviews with Richard Nixon, which have been adapted into both film and theater productions. The other is Charles Dickens, who lived in the Medway area, and much has been done to remember him. There's a theme park called Dickens World, and there are also festivals every June and December, where people can immerse themselves in the books and Victorian England. Kent and the Medway Towns within are quite a fascinating place to visit, and I look forward to exploring more while here. Until next time, I'm Sean Prevel, and you've been watching the MediaPlex British Beat from the Centre for Journalism at the University of Kent in Gillingham.